Can you hear me better than now? Now that it is the end of the year and we can hear me better than now.
Hear me better than now?
Can you hear me better than now? Wow, you look so good and you can hear me better now.
Hello and welcome to the show. Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time, Zoe?
Yes, I am. I'm so sorry that we didn't have the cameras rolling for the beginning of that.
That's okay. We're just trying to, we got a new Zoom. And we're trying to make sure that everything works. Everything in our family of things has to work for the whole show to work. So right now I'm seeing that this microphone works. Zoe, talking to that one?
This microphone works.
A little soft.
Okay, well, I can always turn.
I want to make sure that I hear you.
Her up.
Okay,
Can
well,
you
that's
hear
a lot.
me better now?
Can you hear me better than now?
Can you hear me better than now?
I feel like you maybe turned it up too much.
Can you hear me better than now? Now that I sound way too loud. Can you hear me better than now?
This is hold on, I'm doing the intro. This is a show where a husband and a wife, one of which is a comedian and one of which is a female hairdresser, identifying hairdresser, talk about people's relationship to stuff, whether it be your relationship to another person, your relationship to religion. We never really talk about religion. Your relationship to the mouse's relationship to the keyboard and the rest of the computer. Talking about the difference in relationships to each member of a football team. And how they relate to each other and how they relate to winning and a common goal. What else do we talk about? We talk about relationships. Really thought you were going to swoop in and save me at some point. But like so many other times, you left me to drown.
Excuse me. First of all. Okay? I'm sitting here hearing you better than now. And we are also going to reflect on what we've got going on this week, Mike.
Yeah, we do.
Tell me about...
I didn't have that information prepared when we hit record. I have a show on Friday in San Diego. So only a couple days from now, on the 30th of December, I'll be live in San Diego at the San Diego Madhouse Comedy at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, I think.
Yes.
And can you hear me better than now? Because that's what I'll be doing there. What else? I have a show on Thursday somewhere. What do you think about that? Santa Monica. If you're in the Santa Monica area on the 29th, I will be at Harvell's, which I believe is a bar in Santa Monica, 1432 4th Street, Santa Monica. That's where I'll be going first. And then if the show is not there, I'll find it. But I think the show is there. Zoe, and what the fuck do you have going on this week?
Nothing. I'm actually off, but now my computer at the time is off and it's fucking me and I can't get onto anything.
And what does that mean?
That means
the time is off.
The time is not correct. It says Sunday 10:22 a.m. when in fact it is not Sunday. It is Tuesday at 12:50.
Why is your computer off of Cupertino time?
I don't know.
That's very weird.
Yeah.
Did you get hacked?
I hope not.
I don't know what it means.
I don't either.
So anyway, Zoe.
Mike?
How are we supposed to rectify this situation?
I don't know.
Okay, well, do you want to keep going with the show?
Yes, of course I want to keep going with the show.
Well, no one wants to hear about you're having computer date problems. I mean, not for an extended period of time. Zoe.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell me about the rest of your week when the time is what you want it to be.
I literally don't have anything like solid plans for anything.
Sure. And how does that affect who you are?
It makes me feel like a kept woman.
What does that mean?
It means I've taken naps every single day since last week.
Kept woman sounds like a thing that you can't say anymore, but I'm not totally sure what it means.
Why?
You get how it sounds like a thing that you...
It's different coming from a woman.
Oh.
I can say it.
How? What does it mean?
It means that I don't work. I do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
And spend somebody else's money.
What are you on the couch eating bonbons?
Basically.
I wanted bonbons so hard when I was a kid, based on Married with Children, how Al would always be like, you're sitting there eating bonbons. And I'd be like, what the fuck are bonbons? And my mom would be like, they're chocolate something. And I was like, this bitch just sits around and eats chocolate all day.
Imagine.
I want that.
Yeah, same. Can you make that happen for me?
No. I'm trying as hard as I can to have as much money as we have right now.
I just want to sit home all day.
I want to sit home all day too. What the fuck do you think?
Yeah, but I want to be a kept woman.
I want to be a kept woman too. I want to identify as a kept woman.
No.
Why?
No. That's not fair.
Oh, only women can be kept women? Not very progressive, Zoe.
No, that's not what I said.
Eat
Stop
shit.
putting words in my mouth. You can eat shit.
You eat
Rude.
shit. What do you think
I
about
don't want
that?
to fight. This is my time off. I don't want to fight with you.
Okay, well then, there's only one way to not fight with me right now, and that's to shut your mouth. Sometimes on this show, I say things to you that I wouldn't normally say because of how there's a table between us and time before the show ends.
So lucky.
Sometimes
Okay.
I'm like, maybe she'll forget about it by the time the show ends.
No, I'm going to get you back. And it's going to be like later when you're like just cozy and chilling, like so quiet and just almost falling asleep on the couch later on, you know? And then I'm going to be like, can you hear me better than now? Fucker.
Zoe, that's normally when the punishments happen.
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of people, when they picture my life here on this podcast, they're like, man, Mike has it so easy. But sometimes I'm just relaxing and my body and my mind are totally at peace. And then someone, not saying any names, will come into the room and put their finger in my belly button or something like that. And not like nice, not like dipping a crumpet in some tea. Like the most, you're doing it the most. And that disrupts my peace.
Of course it disrupts your peace because think about the things that you do to me throughout the day.
Like what? Loving
Like what you
Give
just
you-
did.
what did I do?
Talk a shit.
I do talk shit,
Yes.
but I don't
So-
walk it.
No, you don't. Because the proof is in my finger in your belly button.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get all pissy and cranky. And
You think you're so good because you do shit behind closed doors. I do my shit out in pubic.
revenge.
We have a couple questions here, Zoe.
Okay.
About relationships, and I do love answering these questions with you because it shows me a little bit of how you tick, shows the audience how you tick, because
Okay.
no one knows how you tick better than me.
Yes.
I could tell you what Zoe's gonna say
Uh-huh.
years before she does it.
Yes.
And be right a lot of the time.
Yes.
And I think you could probably do the same for me.
Yes.
What am I gonna do next?
You're going to ask the question.
That's 100% right.
Yeah.
This first question is from me.
Okay.
It's about my relationship to my eyes.
Okay.
What? Am I not allowed to ask?
No, you can ask.
And the question goes like this. Does... I'm starting to think it's not a safe space for me to ask questions.
I mean, no, it's fine.
What are you thinking?
Nothing. I know exactly what the question's going to be, but
Does my eye itch or does the skin around my eye itch?
so I think you would know the difference, right?
Clearly not if I'm asking some random podcast on the internet.
Random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
could have asked any podcast.
Okay.
What do you think? I'm going to ask Joel Rogish why my eye itches? Or if my eye itches?
This would be a good question for Hank.
Hank.
Hank Green. Do you think
I'm
he'll
just going to
answer?
text him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call him because I don't want to put him on the spot.
Yeah.
But I will just text him.
Send him a voice memo. Hey, Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Hank. Hi, it's Mike Falzone, big fan. I just want to ask you a question. First of all, happy holidays. Second of all, does my eye itch or does the skin around my eye itch? No pressure, but I will be thinking about this a lot. Hey, Hank. Hi, it's Mike Falzone, big fan. I just want to ask you a question. I sound great.
I would also let him know that it's for the podcast, and if it's okay that you read his answer. Anyway,
No.
So I think that both can itch. So
What are you basing that on, though? Because you have no medical experience.
No, but I know what it is to have like an itchy eyelid, right? And then I also know that like when people are having allergies in their eyes, they just want to rip their eyes out and put it in ice cubes.
Does allergies make your eyeball itch? Can your eyeball itch? I guess is my main question.
I'm going to say yes.
We have one friend. We have one doctor friend who I know might pick up. What do you think about that? Or we have Google, I suppose, is what Zoya's doing.
Hello?
Hi, Heather. Do you have a second?
Yes.
Hi, Heather. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, gosh.
Did you hear
Hi.
that?
Don't.
Yeah, I did. I saw you.
I have a medical question.
Oh, okay.
Do you think this rash will go away and the picture is on its way? No.
It's on
Okay.
you or who's it on?
Listen, it's not about that. I have a medical question and I want to know if you could answer it.
Sorry, hold on. Did you really send me a picture?
No. I'm just going to ask the question now. Here it comes. Do my
fine.
eyes, when my eyes itch, do my eyeballs itch or does the skin around my eyes itch? If you don't know, you could pass it on to somebody smarter.
Probably someone smarter would know, but I think probably it makes sense that the skin around your eyes would itch. I think your eyeball could get dried out and it could feel what the feeling of like itchiness is.
Because your
But
eyes
eyeball.
your eyes are organs, right? Your eyeball. So can organs itch? Like, can my spleen itch?
I mean, you have an organ on you that probably itches sometimes.
Yeah, the
What's
largest
she
one.
talking about? Oh,
Your
that's
skin.
not the one that I'm thinking of. Oh, yeah, I suppose the skin is an organ. Organ trail.
No.
Penis.
Penis is one.
You got an itchy penis?
I don't personally.
Okay, great.
Not right now.
That's very reassuring.
Thinking of 'em.
Sometimes if I don't shower for 4 or 5 days, itchy penis.
That's disgusting.
Sometimes. Anyway, thank
I
you.
think your eyeballs can itch, yes, because you could get like the infection and stuff in your eyes.
Heather says that your eyeballs can itch because you can get inception in your eyes.
No.
Thank you so much for your. Thank you for your.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
Bye, Heather.
Okay.
Good. Nothing from Hank.
Itchy
yet.
eyes can be triggered by exposure to pollen, animal fur, mold, dust mites, makeup,
We all know why.
or eye drops.
We all know
the
why.
body reacts to the trigger by releasing histamine, causing the blood vessels in the eye to dilate and irritating the nerve. Yes, that makes sense. I'm so sorry. Irritating the nerve endings so the eyes water.
So the actual eyes.
So when your eyes are itchy and they're watering, that's when you know they're itchy.
So your actual eye can itch.
I text Mary, who would definitely know the answer to this.
So maybe we'll get several medically backed up answers by the end of the podcast.
But if it has anything to do with the podcast, you probably won't be on it.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
There's several people we know in our life that would never be on the podcast
Yeah.
for any reason.
Yeah.
Although I did think my mom was one of those people and she has answered the phone before.
Yeah. Has my mom answered? Yeah. My Sarge has answered. Yeah.
But she'll never hear it.
Yeah. No. That's not true.
Is that, would she listen? That's fun. Here we go.
Here we go.
Move on to a different question,
Yes.
you think? Okay. How do you manage setting boundaries with your family members? I feel like we kind of answered this one a lot, or we at least tap dance around this one a lot.
You just have to let them know that you have boundaries, and that's that.
Tell them your eyes itch.
You know, like you can't expect, you know, them to know what your boundaries are unless you've actually said them.
Also, people push until they know what you don't want to talk about no more.
Yeah, people are always going to take whatever they can, as long as they can, until they can't anymore.
It's not an issue until people know that it's an issue, right? So if you're talking to a family member or a friend or whatever, and you don't want to be talking about this, that, and the other thing with them, it's like, why would they not talk to you about that if they don't know that it bothers you? So you bring it up that it bothers you, or you don't want to talk about that with them or in general. And then if they do it again, it becomes a different, more specific problem because you set up a boundary.
Right.
How, if you play soccer game, during the first ever doing soccer game, how do they know where out of bounds is? There's like a cliff or a river or something. And they're like, if ball goes into river, no can doing it. Or whatever they said, whoever invented.
You literally just went like this.
No can doing it.
No can doing
For
it.
ball is wet now in the river.
Now that ball is wet, we now have to air out.
No, ball is wet in the river.
Now it goes flying down to it takes a river ride, and now we have no ball.
So what if they wanted to play football match in a place that didn't have rivers? They were like, we have to set up a boundary because we don't have rivers, but we need out of bounds as well.
Yeah.
So you set up a boundary, and
Yeah.
then if somebody goes outside the boundary, you have to be like, that's a throw-in.
So I think that a lot of people that want to set boundaries hate the idea of conflict.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of people are for lack of a better word, are crippled by it.
Yeah.
So they won't set up a boundary, even though they desperately need to, because it's going to help them function better.
Yeah,
right?
it's hard to knowingly jump into some friction
Right.
with your family.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you are the type of person that is uncomfortable with conflict because it's going to set some kind of something up, someone's going to be annoyed by it, right? But it's also a boundary that you need to set, and it also gives them the chance to also set boundaries, you know?
It's, you know what it is? It's sharing. We say setting up friction, and it's not easy to anticipate friction, but setting up boundaries is like sharing the friction. Because if they're saying something that's making you uncomfortable, you're taking all the friction on yourself. So might as well share it and be like, I'm not cool with that. And then next time it's brought up, it's both of your problems.
Right.
And it's not just yours anymore.
Right.
Or it's no one's problem.
So there was a situation at work
Easy does it.
where a client had brought in, he had his mother bring in his kids for haircuts. And it's the holidays, and one of the kids, 5 years old, what did you do today at school? Did you have pajama day? Your brother's in his pajamas? And she's like, yeah, I didn't go to school today. And and we were like, why didn't you go to school? And she was like, I was sick. I had a fever, so I was sick.
Mind your
So
own
I
business.
stayed home, right? So you stayed home today, but you're not sick enough to not come into the salon.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was very annoying and very frustrating, right?
Because that tells you, like, I won't get 20 other kids sick, but I will get the hairdresser sick.
Right. Who is also probably seeing 20 other people.
Yeah, but they don't think like that.
Right.
People in general think their hairdresser is for them only.
So their dad had an appointment late after they did. Okay. Grandmother takes them home. Dad comes in, and before Dad comes in, Jamie was like, I want to say something And I was like, you should say something. And if you don't say something, I will say something.
Whose client was it?
It was Jamie's.
Yeah, for sure.
And she was like, she's like, I don't understand. But that's what it is. It's like, we have to set these boundaries. Like, if your kid stays home from school or you stay home from work because you don't feel well,
Yeah.
don't come into the salon
Yeah.
and get everyone else sick.
Yeah.
If you're sick enough to not go to work, you're sick enough not to come to the hair salon.
Yeah.
It's fucking hair.
Yeah, yeah. Tom Rhodes has these jokes where he's like, he talks about laws, crazy laws. And it's either laws or signs. And he's like, before there's a law, there's got to be a problem. Before there's a sign, there's got to be a problem. And so what you got to do then, if you're Jamie or you, is you got to build the sign.
Yeah, but Jamie
don't
also
fucking come in if you're sick, dog.
Jamie also hates conflict.
Yeah, I get it.
Hates conflict.
It's uncomfortable. Who wants
sucks.
to knowingly be uncomfortable? But you have to sometimes.
Sometimes you have to. And I know that I'm not, maybe I'm a little bit too rough around the edges.
Yeah.
But like, I'm happy to like be like, listen,
Yeah.
that can't fucking happen
And
again.
that makes you tough to be around
That's fine.
in general.
You don't have to be around me. So,
Because whenever we're just chilling and not, and just kind of having a nice afternoon, you introduce conflict by putting your finger in my belly button.
you deserve it.
And that's not how you deal with problems. Would you do that to a stranger?
Maybe.
Okay. We'll be right back.
Can you hear me better than now? Can you hear me better than now? Can you hear me better than now? Now that I said I will put my finger in your belly button. In your belly button. Can you hear me better than now?
We have one more for this show.
Let's do this.
And then we should get some more before we do the next show.
Okay.
If I'm being honest. Wait, where are we at right now?
We are 22, or we can save the next ones.
We can, but then that's a huge cliffhanger for the people listening right now.
Then looks like they're going to have to return next week.
Fuck. Let me do this because I would be itching. My eyes would be itching if I listened to this.
Looks like you got, don't scratch your butt and then your eyes. You have poopy
I
eye.
don't do that
Itchy
anymore.
butt.
Do you?
Itchy eye butt.
Think about our
Itchy
last
butt
couple.
eyes.
Listen. Itchy butt eyes?
Yeah.
Like itchy and also eyes?
Yes.
Zoe?
Itchy because of butt eyes.
No, we're not. Dude, why are you writing down potential titles for the podcast right now? Itchy
Because
butt
I do that.
eyes?
I do that every week.
I know, but we're not calling the episode Itchy Butt Eyes.
Why? It's so funny.
I shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to have this conversation every time. We
We
can't
should take
call the
Lex, take a
episode.
poll. If this is funny to everyone else, this is going to be Itchy Butt Eyes is going to be next week's.
No, it has to be either this week. Name it Itchy Butt Eyes. See if I care, Zoe.
You do care.
Hey, what's
You
the
always-
episode after the Christmas episode? Itchy Butt Eyes?
Come on,
Let's pick it back up on Itchy Butt Eyes.
Mike. What is one?
I just
thing-
wanted to say, Zoe. Wait, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
It
Interrupting.
sounds like you were going to ask me a question.
I was.
I
but
was literally
no.
about to be like, do you have any questions? I'm sorry, Zoe. I like how whenever we put up a clip of one of us dunking on the other one, get got, when it goes outside of our immediate circle of people who understand our relationship, people get very upset.
Oh, so upset.
People think we hate each other in some parts of the world.
Well, somebody today, because we're still getting like hits on that West Coast versus East Coast.
Unfortunately.
Yes. And somebody was like, "This is stupid." I mean, I can't tell you how many
They get
times
so
people are
angry.
so like just scrolling through some of those. I've stopped months ago.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really funny when some of them come up because it's like, "This is stupid. California isn't all of the West Coast," and
Yeah,
blah blah
people say
blah.
that
Like
a
no
lot.
one fucking said that.
Or then
okay?
every once in a while, here are the main ones that
Yeah.
happen. It's that,
Yeah.
or New Yorkers saying this is the truest shit
Yeah.
ever, or California people saying like transplant ideology.
Yeah.
Or people in the middle of the country being like, well, that's why you come
Nebraska. Come to Nebraska.
Everyone in Nebraska is nice.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not hating on anyone. I'm not saying that people are good or bad on the East Coast or versus the West Coast.
Yeah.
There's good and bad every fucking where.
The same 5 people exist everywhere.
Okay.
Sometimes there's just more.
But it
of
is
them.
the truth of the matter is that people are nice, but sometimes not kind.
Yeah.
And being kind and not nice, they're two different things.
Yeah.
It's like people can't like think, here's the box.
Yeah.
I think outside of it.
Yeah.
People
don't always want to have the most challenging thoughts. Also, I get people who are like, the whole thing really gives you a good insight as to being what insanely popular on the internet must be like.
Yeah.
Because when something blows up and goes outside of your people who understand who you are, you get everybody's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they pick apart what you say 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. Imagine being a regular person saying what you say day to day, and everything gets picked apart. That would drive you crazy.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then listening to everybody's opinion, and you don't need to listen to everybody's opinion.
No.
Isn't that crazy?
And I don't. I don't.
But it also, like, if every clip we had was like that, I feel like I'd be way more disconnected because I would be off.
Yeah.
Like, the audience for this show has been kind of molded in like how many fucking years we've been doing this, like 10 years in some way, shape, or form.
It'll be 11 in September.
A lot of the people who listen to get it really well, and it's nice to hear what they have to say because it comes from like they have some kind of baseline understanding of who we are. Hopping, it's really made me think a lot how hopping in when you're introduced to something and putting your stamp on it, being like, I think this.
Yeah.
You really have to know about the context and the people.
Right.
And then it makes me think about like celebrities. Like everyone says whatever they want about like Pete Davidson. Imagine being Pete Davidson and you live your life and you have all of your experiences, and then you go outside and you put a face on and a coat, and then people take a picture of you and they're like, oh, he must be blah, blah, blah. And then the world, like hundreds of thousands of people have these assumptions about you based on like 4 things they've seen you do in public. And you're like that.
Is it Davidson or is it Davidson?
I don't know.
Okay.
Daverson with an R. Matt Damonson. Anyway, fuck whatever I was saying. But
okay, I do have a question for you though. I agree with you as far as that goes. Also, Pete Davidson is like, he dates these hot chicks and he puts himself in the fire. So, whatever.
Putting yourself in the fire is dating a hot chick. Am I in the fire? So I'm dating a hot chick?
I mean, yes.
More on that at 11.
Yes. Since this is the last episode of the year, what are some goals that you want to do?
I don't want to say all of them.
Before the year ends.
Yes.
How do you want to end this year?
Relaxed.
Yeah.
I'd like to relax. There's a lot of creative energy that I have that I think gets... Excuse me, I burped a little. I don't want to talk myself out of doing creative stuff for one reason or another. Like, I'm really not super hung up on like views or whatever, but I am kind of hung up on purpose. And sometimes if I want to make something, but I'm not sure it'll like perform well, I want to just make the thing anyway.
Yeah, as you should.
I would like more. I'd like to finish things. I'd like to do different types of things.
And that's how you want to end the year?
I just want to go into the new year with that
mentality.
Yeah.
I hear that.
How about you?
I want to I've had almost a week off at this point, And it has felt so incredible to not even think or text work stuff.
Yeah.
Although I did do a color order yesterday, but that's neither here nor there. I need product for when I go back to work. But
Sure. I was just about to say.
But like when I've
you out.
been trying to like reflect on, you know, this past year, okay? And not that it was a bad year, but it was a very tough year for me. And I felt it a lot all year long. And I feel like having this last week off has just been so well deserved and B necessary. I find that lately I've been beating myself up a lot about things that should have gotten done and didn't get done, and vice versa, you know. But ending the year off chill and relaxed and with no like real plan to do anything has been just, it's been so fucking great.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you've had that time.
yeah, me
you work
too.
really hard.
Thank you.
And I like that you were able to kind of shut off.
Yeah. I felt bad. There's a friend coming to visit in February and they asked me to do their hair, and I basically told them no.
But that's part of it. That's one of the like harder decisions that you have to make.
And you know who you are.
To balance out what you know. You're old enough to know, because you're old, and you're old enough to know what will set you over the edge.
You have a big nose. You know what? This conversation's fucking over.
Dude, I ruined so many of the nice things that I have by going for the
and you got
yucks.
fucking big ears. You guys, thank you so much for listening. Mike's dead
I have
come
big
2023.
ears?
You guys, thanks so much for listening.
And
as you know, our podcast, we're part
really
of a
hard this year.
Patreon.
And I think I want to rest too.
Mike's gonna die today because you're about to rest forever. As you know, patreon.com is a virtual tipping and rewards website where we give you a little. You give us, actually, we don't give you anything except for this podcast.
That's what we give you. Over and over again forever.
Yes. Our $10 group gets a shout out like this. Cole Rusty, Joseph Caprischio. That's just going to be it for today.
Joseph Caprici.
Shannon Haynes. DLD, Ernesto, Raja, Eliseus, Lewis and Odette, Lawrence Chauncey, Paul Gilliam, Steve Diergo, Chris McCarthy, Trevor the Werefishy. I always want to say Chris the Werefishy, but it's not. That's not what it is. Joe Penn. Happy birthday, Starlight. JJ McToots, Rachel last name, Mike Genie, Alan Garcia, Connie Tryon, Isabella Sparkles, and Taro Baez, Frankie Matos Music, Chris Fernandez, Johnny Rosito Handcrafted Neckwear, CCPB&J, Admin, Zoya, you're doing great, Caleb Perkins, Giant Tom Hanks, Lizzie Love, Gavin Welsh, someone tell Aaron, Jackie Hammond, the guy with long hair. What?
This is funny. This thing is wacky.
It was such a good Christmas present.
It was
How
the
many
best.
years ago was that? That was a while ago.
It was
anyway,
at least 5 years ago.
Chris Johnson, Anna is going to be an Auntie Valles.
Hell yeah,
Congratulations. Benjamin Putz, Beth Bush, Snuggle Pig H, Christina Camille. I hope your shoulder's feeling better. She dislocated it at
Coachella.
No, ice skating in New York City.
Oh, no.
Where is that?
Rockefeller Center?
Yeah, thank you. Happy birthday, Lex. Michael Johnson, Kayla Johnston, Grant Levasseur, Chad Clark, Heather Ashley, What is Cat, Katie Taylor, Shane Welsh, Evan Canoe, Joe Ban, Milky Beans, Jess Enright, Lillian Carrillo. I'm sorry, getting lost in the music. Magnus Silva, Barrington Lloyd Lovett, Ben Fuchs, Theodorus Karen Bellis, Janisha Tutton, Danny Sinclair, Jacob D. Bradford, Justine Beebestein, Josh, Sergeant Sparty, Ed Birch. Helen Ford, Illuminos, Superfloss, Tatiana Clay, Danielle D. Verona, Sean Stone, Valerie York, Dev, Jesse Stillwell, Katie Lee G, Rob Devereaux. Fuck, I'm fucking myself up because when I was with them, when they were getting married, I kept, they were saying like Devereaux, and I kept correcting them as Devereaux. Yeah. And it was just very funny.
What's correct?
I think it's Devereaux. Don Buer, Nestor De Leon III, Luis Hernandez, Alexander Legowski, Monique Quistorf, Jamie Garner, Cody Osalas, Felicia Shimberry, and Matthew J. Palka. You guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you. We hope that you have a really great end of the year. And is our next episode coming out before the 1st? No, it's after the 1st.
I don't think so. Also, remember that you could always write your questions into the podcast about your relationship to literally anything on Welcome to Our Podcast, the Instagram account.
You guys, again, thanks so much for listening. Mike has shows. You can look them up on MikeFalzone.com.
MikeFalzone.com right there on the front page. Come out this Friday to San Diego. I would love to see you at the Madhouse Comedy, 8 and 10. And then everywhere else. Oh, dude, the next Surrounded shows are on the 6th.
Yes.
So have a different type of insurrection at the Hollywood Improv.
All right. We'll talk to you next week.